In this video, we're going to be talking about the phylum Nematoda, or more commonly referred to as the roundworms. They represent another step on the evolutionary ladder towards more complex organisms, and in this case, a major development will be the pseudocoelom, or a false body cavity. Here's another way to look at that evolution as it compares to the more simple animals like the sponges and cnidarians, and the more complex ones, the other invertebrates and the vertebrates and the chordates. The phylum Nematoda gets its name from two words, nema, meaning thread in Greek, and ode, in the nature of. So they're in the nature of threads, and their long, slender body shape easily shows why this is a perfect name for them. Example these include soil nematodes, hookworms, and pinworms. And their general features are that they're round in body shape, long and cylindrical, they're tapered at both ends, and they are the most abundant worm on the planet, and they live almost everywhere in some habitat or another. The phylum Nematoda live in virtually any habitat, marine, freshwater, soil. In the bottom left, you can see a free-living aquatic nematode, a small nematode in the center that is living in and around soybeans. And then there are some that live inside the roots of vegetables, and they cause a parasitic infection, and those swellings in the roots are filled with parasitic nematodes. The phylum Nematoda fulfills several very important ecological roles. One is to cycle nutrients around in the environment. Two is to act as a scavenger, breaking down plants or animals that have already died. And then third, acting as parasites. The picture in the bottom is a human or pig parasite that lives in the intestines. Here's an example of that same worm being found by a doctor during a colonoscopy. And you can see that this parasite moves around quite a bit, and now here it is being removed. On the left, you can see elephantiasis. This is a nematode parasite that is blocking the lymph system and allowing fluid to accumulate. On the right, you see cat parasites. These nematodes have been expelled in the vomit after some medication has been administered to the cat. Another nematode parasite are the hookworms. They're commonly found through tropical areas and mostly in the southern hemisphere. Here's the life cycle of hookworms. They get onto the skin, cause an itchy sensation, and then when the person itches, they cause little tiny breaks in the skin, and they're able to enter the blood system. They exit through the lungs and are then kind of expelled up into the phlegm and then swallowed, where they can finally rest and live out the rest of their life cycle in the intestines. You can see someone who has a parasitic infection in their foot on the far right. The phylum Nematoda is bilaterally symmetrical. They do have a head region, but they do not have any segmentation. Their nervous system is comprised of a ring of ganglia around the neck with two nerve cords running down the length of the body. In this particular diagram, you see those in yellow. Nematodes have sexual reproduction with separate sexes. There are male nematodes and female. You can see here on the left the male and the female. The female being the larger one, which is better for producing more eggs. Here's a close-up example of the inside anatomy of one of those females. You can see the larger, thicker uteri, and then the skinnier, smaller oviducts that would transport the eggs to the uteri after fertilization. The phylum Nematoda is a step towards the development and evolution of a true body cavity. In this case, you can see what is now called a pseudocoelom. We have the endoderm, mesoderm, and ectoderm, but all of the organs are just in an open cavity and are not contained within their own linings. In this case, we're going to call this a pseudocoelomate. Here's another example to show you how those organs are sitting in the middle of the body cavity. Not a true body cavity because they don't have their own lining, but they are in the middle with the different layers on the outside. In terms of tissues and organs, they have both. And in this diagram, you can see the digestive and reproductive systems and the organs involved with both of them. And for the first time in evolution, we have a true complete gut. We have a beginning and an end with a mouth, the digestive system, and then finally ending with an anus. Respiration happens through diffusion through the body surface and the body wall. Simple excretion ducts collect nitrogenous waste and excrete them at the body surface, but in this case there are no flame cells like we are seen in the platyhelminthes. In terms of research and beneficial uses, nematodes are extremely important research animals. This one, C. elegans, is a commonly used model organism to study everything from aging and life cycle to various physiological processes. It was also one of the first animals to have its entire genome sequenced.